Hi, my name's TechDave, and today we're looking at the Lenovo ThinkPad T480 and the RX 578GB in the Lenovo Legion boost station once again, with as the part 2 of my previous video, which was the budget eGPUs out of 2025, and I'm just going to basically be doing gaming benchmarks today, so I'll be moving over here to capture on my desktop, but let's just cut and show you around the studio. So over here we have my Ryzen 9. Oh, is it 7958 3D PC, which is capture carding this monitor over here. I've got to look at these sick LED candles that my missus got me. Look, I got all my plants. And we've got this is OBS set up ready to capture, and then sneak preview of games we're going to be benchmarking. But this is my little T480 setup. So we've got T480 in a vertical riser, Lenovo Legion boost station, cable carnage at the back. So you've got Thunderbolt 3 and then angled connectors so that they don't stick out that way. It's not quite worked out as aesthetically as I'd hoped, but it works. We've got the SE Electronics mic to capture audio. And then we got like all this background area. So this is pretty cool. So we've got like game controllers, hard drives, keyboards, mouse, and input devices. We've got my ThinkPad collection there. Random gubbins. The active stuff goes there. So, and I'm working on something directly. I store it up there. So I've got them to hand. And then we've got like Chromebook, Samsung Go Chromebook. My first ever laptop, old Dell, X1 Carbon, X280, X200, X201T, X270. That's got no USB 3, so that's the X220, X230, T480, X230 tablet. And I've got just like a wall of like kind of memorial stuff there. We've got the guitars as usual. And then a little sneaky look through here. So this curtain here basically bifurcates the room into like a third of less. Just sneak a little sneaky. Look at this, yes. Made a beautiful little studio opposite side of the curtain. And I've got a workshop in the shed now. But yeah, that's the basic layout of the studio. This is what we're going to be capturing on. And what made the light wobble? It's kind of aesthetic there. Right, so I'm going to just probably run through some specs. We'll do that on the capture card. So I'll jump into capture card and then do some benchmarks. Sweet. And here we are on the laptop. So you can see in the top right corner we've got the i7-8550U CPU at 1.8 gigahertz. 4-core, 1 socket, 4 cores, 8 threads, virtualization enabled, 256 kilobyte L2, 1 megabyte and 8 megabyte L2 and L3. Turbo is up to around 4.1. As you can see, it's idling now at 3.8. Got 32 gigs DDR4 2400T in 2 DIMMs. And I'm running just a normal SATA SSD at the moment. I didn't have a big enough NVMe for this process, so I just use that for now. It's USB, don't know what that's the eGPU, there's no drive in there though. No Wi-Fi, dual band AC, 8265, Intel HD, 620 graphics, and the star of the show, the Radeon RX 578GB. And we're going to put it through its paces with a few games, which I'll show you here. So we've got Epic. We've got, where's our installed? Cyberpunk, Deus Ex, Mankind Divided, Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider. And we've also got Abiotic Factor, Dead by Daylight, Dying Light 2. I've been asked to try this lossless scaling app because it seems to work pretty well. And then we've got Cyberpunk, I already mentioned that, Valheim, Voyagers of Nera, Darktide and Space Marine. So I'm going to go through them one by one, analyse them, how they perform. I've got full analytic overlay via Steam, that's why you can see some of these duplicates from Epic, because I added non-Steam games so that we can have the overlay. So let's see if that works out. And probably I might just go through them alphabetically, just start with each one and go through. So I'll see you in probably the first game, which should be Abiotic Factor. Okay, so we're in Abiotic Factor. Now you can see up here at the top, reference here, so we've got the FPS, and we've got the CPU utilization, CPU temperature, gigahertz CPU, GPU utilization, temperature, VRAM usage, and RAM usage all there for you. Now it's just compiling shaders, so I'm just going to sit and let it do that. Actually, let's turn the music off a second. There we go. It's just compiling shaders, so I'm going to sit and let it do that, and then we'll go into it. For now, I'm just going to see what performance we get natively out of the laptop, but then I might go back on a couple of games, such as the more heavy-duty ones like Darktide and Space Marine 2, and see if we can get a little bit more out of them using lossless scaling. So I'll be back once these shaders have compiled. So we're in Abiotic Factor. Let's enter the facility. Start a new game. I'm just gonna single player only. Yes, cool. Game cannot be blank. Okay. TechDave. And so you can see if you for the I just want to get into the game. Let's leave it. There's somewhere in 10. Start with an extra 12 points. And then let's just leave that for now. I'm ready. I want to see what the in-game performance is like. I turned off the music. So we're getting 25 FPS. Let's see what settings it's got as that. Let's go to, pardon me, Jesus. So we've got 1080p borderless, 100% resolution scale, VSync off. Ooh. Sorry, my mic briefly decided to commit harikiri there. Let's put it all on epic, so what we're probably going to do is just notch these down to high and try and see what a difference that makes. It's reassuring that it's given us those scores though. Anti-aliasing, that'll do fine. FPS is fine because we've got that included. Let's resume. So we're still hovering around the 30 FPS point of reference.
I don't
FPS.
think we've met.
Okay. Why am I not walking? Kick? Let's kick the door. Cannot be opened. Okay. So we'll get about 30 FPS in Abiotic Factor. Let's see how can we improve that down to medium. It's actually like pretty intensive game to run. There is DirectX 11 mode you can select as well. I'm going to try and see if we can get to 60 FPS, what kind of performance we need to get that. So we're still hovering around the 30 to 40 FPS, even on medium settings. So I think that's probably all we're going to get with that massively lowering the quality of the game. Toilet, yeah. Janitor's closet. Chef's hat. So yeah, we're looking around 35 FPS no matter what settings we put it on. CPU utilization is about 50%. GPU 65. 3 gigs of VRAM. So we could probably keep it as it loaded us in and it'd be fine. Like a locked 30 FPS, so that's Abiotic Factor, we're looking at about 30 FPS. Okay, we just dropped into Dead by Daylight. It might take a minute not to do all this stuff. Yeah. This was a viewer request. I can't remember your name, let me just check. It was on my last video. Can't find it. Right, let's just do all this first. So it's nice and dark and scary. I don't have epilepsy.
ขอจงสดับฟัง เรื่องราวอันน่าเศร้าซึ่งกล่าวว่าเธอเป็นนักร้องสาวผู้มีใจกระหายหาความยิ่งใหญ่ที่ข้อเสนอได้รับการสนองแต่พรนั้นกลับคือคำสาป
We edit this out because it's really annoying. I can't find the comment. Someone did request this game, basically. Go away, these scary noises. Right, where's settings? Turn off the music. Audio. Menu music down to 0. Copyright music off. Right, how do I play? I learned to play, let's just try that. Okay. You can see here at the top we've got 49 FPS, 58% CPU utilization, 68 degrees, 1.8 gigahertz, so it's just chilling down on a low frequency. GPU's maxed out, so we can see it's very GPU intensive, this game, rather than CPU. Okay. WAS and D to move. So we're basically sitting just under or around 60 FPS. Okay. Vault. Go to the window. So yeah, this is very playable. What's this? Play the generator. Whoopsie daisy. Didn't realise it'd be a quick time event. Seems like a good way to get killed in a horror game. Making loads of noises up. Yeah, basically locked 60 FPS. Most of the time. Oh, screw this. But yeah, basically. How do I quit? So locked 60 FPS in Dead by Daylight with the RX 570 and the i7 8550U, so that's a useful benchmark. Next on the agenda, then we've got Deus Ex Mankind Divided. This ran pretty well before. I'll leave DirectX 12 off. MSAA, no. I'm just going to use the default settings so you can see what they are there. 1080p, MSAA off. Double buffering. Actually, let's turn VSync off as well. Stereoscopic 3D off. And leave it all on the settings. You can see there if you want to pause and have a look. And then we'll dive in. Hopefully it'll give us the Steam overlay. This is the first Epic game we're trying. And it has, excellent. So we're getting a sat at 30 FPS with VSync off. This might just be for the opening. Yeah, 200 FPS. Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Let's just do story. Sure, I already started the game here. Give me a story. No, I do not want to watch the recap video. So it looks like our cutscenes are all 30 FPS locked. Pardon me, Jesus Christ. skip.
I once thought I could save them.
There we go. Non-lethal.
We've got a UC in there. Might be easier to maintain his cover if he's not the only one still
Looks
breathing
like he's
when this
British
is done.
with those teeth.
Smart. Yeah, but if anything does happen to him, you'll be telling his wife.
He's
After
actually
you get
British.
out of the hospital, of course. What about range?
Can I turn off the music? Audio. Music off. Back. Back. Resume.
There's lots of wide spaces and high ceilings in there.
So we'll wait
But a
until we're
number
into
of
some
tight
actual
and
gameplay.
constrained
Looks like there's
rooms
quite a
too.
lot of cutscene
So it's a crapshoot.
stuff
really.
going on here. Tranquilizer rifle.
Well, I'm not looking to play dice with anyone in there. Give me something with distance.
Your call. Less chance of being seen and compromising Singh that way. One last
How do I wish I could just skip.
Jettingson. Singh said the Jinn are using some sort of portable Wi-Fi device to boost communications. He's got a better chance of maintaining cover if you disable it.
But this is a good
Keep an
point
eye out
of
for it.
reference, I guess.
But aren't we on the clock
So
here?
we've got
You
80
said there's a
FPS,
sandstorm moving
40% CPU
There
utilization,
is,
70
and we got
degrees,
the intel on this
2.89
mission at
gigahertz,
the very
100%
last
GPU
minute.
utilization.
So we're
Fat,
scrambling a little.
comfortable.
If it comes to it, your
71
number one
degrees.
priority is keeping the Jinn out of that atrium.
3 gigs of VRAM,
Copy that.
8 gigs, 8.3 gigs of
Time to
memory.
put away your happy thoughts, gentlemen. We're approaching the target building.
You're up first, Jensen. Let's do this.
Right, let's see what happens when we get to the
Task
ground.
force This is 9.
Skip. Come on, get some action. Right, this looks gorgeous.
Team leader, this is Jensen. I'm on the roof.
Solid copy. Move into the building.
Fine.
The access route you need to block is at the far end of the penthouses. And keep in mind, the
Shift to
direct
sprint.
route might not be the easiest one.
Roger that.
McCready will advise once his
Press
team is
Q,
on the
I've
ground.
played this before.
Miller out.
Control to crash. So we're sat about 72 FPS quite comfortably. Let's have a look what graphics settings give us. We've got. Oh, we already saw that at the start, so yeah. We could probably bump this up a little bit and then sit at 60. So let's just try that very high. Restart is required, more than 4 gigs of VRAM. Okay, I'm going to pause and come back. Let's save quick. So we can just drop straight back in. Create a new save file. Okay, we've done a few. Right, I'll be back with the restart of game settings. Just loading back in. I love this game. I really want to play this. Maybe I should, let me know in the comments if you actually legit watch me stream, because this. I've been wanting an excuse to stream some games for a while. Can't get back into the game. Come on. Come on. Let's just play. Story. Load game. Save 3. Yep. So what we did, we bumped up to very high. So we weren't using much VRAM. So we'll see how that pans out. I think this is an older game. It's a really good game though. Yeah, here we go. So this is not where I was it? Oh yeah, so it's sat about 60 FPS now. So that's good. Whack. Yeah, it's at basically exactly 60 FPS, 100% GPU utilization. Let's see if we can get to a more open area. Is this where I just came through? It is. I lack spatial awareness in games like this. Cool. Nice little third person cut there. So yeah, so we've gone from high to very high. Shoot those seagulls. Do we? No, of course not. It looks a little bit. Yeah, we're down to 45 now. So if we look out into the environment, so still very playable, but not holding that 60 FPS.
balance and we're moving through... Oh, fuck!
What's wrong?
The Jinn have got a few Jennies up and running. Gonna have to hack keypads.
You should enjoy them, Creedy. They have colors and shapes. Just remember, red means bad.
Fuck you.
I don't know what I'm doing here, but handsome. Right. Oh yeah, sweet. One over there. Yippee. Didn't work, did work. I actually need to spend some time with this game. That's what I'm looking for. I don't know what that means or what I'm supposed to do. But yeah, so we're getting like wildly varying frame rate, but it's over 45 and very high, which to my mind is playable. So let's count that as a win. Move on to the next game. So here we are, Dying Light 2 Reloaded Edition. It's dropping into the game. See the metrics up top. We've got 50, 60 FPS. Low CPU utilization, but a reasonably high clock speed. GPU 20. Well, we'll see when we load in. I'm just loading in first. Only using 2 gigs of VRAM, so we can probably bump this up quite a bit. We've got 13 gigs of RAM involved. We'll see. We'll see how it performs. That looks pretty nice. 40 FPS. Let's go options. Video. I've got it on easy because I'm a chump and I want to enjoy myself instead of stress myself out. VSync off. We've got FSR set to quality. We get about 40 FPS, so probably want to tinker with that. Advanced video settings. So DirectX 11. Anti-aliasing. Well, you can see what settings there are. It's all on low. Turn off these things. Get a little bit more. Particles we don't need on high. Leave that medium. Texture quality we do want high. LOD low. Let's just try that so you can eke out a little bit more FPS. So it looks a bit more ropey. Look at this. Oh, love this game. So we're getting around 40 FPS, even in bigger parts of the world. Oop, missed that. Little jump. Let's do some parkour, just to see if it... You feel free to watch the frame rate up top, it's there right in the middle. Got some zombies down there. Wall run. There we go. So yeah, about 46 to 60 FPS, but hovering mainly around 46. I've been playing this with a pal of mine, so I don't even know where I am in the game. In a single player campaign. I've been playing with this. Oh yeah. So yeah, 40 FPS. You saw the settings. We're getting 70. What is it? 70% is the GPU, CPU utilization. GPU maxed out, even though we're only using half the VRAM. So I'm guessing that's the core speed, and 13.2 gigs of RAM. So very playable on this little 1080p panel I've got. It looks nice enough. So you're seeing 1080p stretched up to 4K 60. So it might look a little bit worse than the rest of the footage, I'm not sure, but it's like definitely a playable frame rate, playable experience, looks pretty. And then we got Cyberpunk next, so I'm going to just stop the video and come back with Cyberpunk. Okay, so we're in Cyberpunk now. You can see the FPS up there in the menu in 200, but right, what I've done, I turned all the music off, and it's given us video settings. Well, there's basic video settings. So VSync off. Window borderless, obviously 1080p. No HDR, because I don't have that, or NVIDIA. I don't have any of that stuff. So I'm using an old graphics card. And we've got super resolution 2 set to quality, 50% sharpening, frame gen off, although we're going to probably try that. I'm not sure. Texture quality high, ray tracing off. No, ray tracing, crowd density medium. I'll just, rather than describing it, I turned off motion blur as well because that makes me feel sick. Contact shadows 16 times, all highs. So that's what they've given us. All I've changed is the audio settings. So we'll see what we can run from that, like how well it does.
Hey everyone, feels great to have you back. So, did y'all hear about that aircraft carrier docked in Night City called Kujira or the Whale? Apparently the Corp figured it wasn't safe.
I don't envision this to be great. I loaded this before.
Afraid some local fishermen might
exact same settings.
Harpoon it for scientific research.
Yeah, this is it. Come on, Vic. Find me once Vic's done dusting your circuits.
So we're on 23, 32 FPS. Who's this guy? I don't remember what I was doing in this game. It's a big manly man. But it's running like ass, so let's tinker with some settings. So we want to go frame gen on. Crowd density, medium quality. Let's try performance. Balance. Let's just try balance. And then, is there like a global? No, you got to do it all manually. Let's just try that. So we're going to restart. So let's quit game and restart. I'll be back. Yeah, I'll be back in a second.
We'll hash out what Dex has cooked up.
So now, if you look at the top up here, we're getting like, so we've got FSR visible, which is like giving us like 60 FPS with frame gen. Oh no, 44. It doesn't look great. It looks a bit wobbly.
But you are not the masters of your memories. For your eyes do not belong.
Let's go into. He just like materialized out of nowhere. Go into graphics, and we're going to go right down, try and find a playable frame rate. So medium, 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 medium. That's on low, so that's fine. Medium. We're just going to medium up everything. And then see what we get. Anything more playable? So it's saying 69 FPS FSR, and we're at a stable 30 FPS. That's
hey,
good.
V. Dr. Vector will see you now.
I'll sit tight over here. Me and Misty got a little catching up to do.
Okay, you go and catch up with Misty.
Malone drops his guard. You can see the fatigue on him.
Vicky, surprise every.
Okay.
The old Ripper. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too, V.
So we're getting 40.
What
FPS,
do I owe the pleasure
FSR
today?
is pushing us to the
last gig. Had to jack into a client's neuro socket.
Experiencing migraines.
Whole kit and caboodle.
All right, kid. We'll sort you out in a flash.
Yes.
Besides that,
Spunky
how are
monkey
things?
on the wall. How crude. Looking to upgrade.
Need some new kit, but tools, not toys, Vic. Time I bumped up my sights and got a grip.
Okay, so
really?
right.
Now
that's our conclusion. So we were getting 70 to 80 indoors, and then native FPS was like 40, and then we're getting 80 with frame gen. Pretty much locked at 70% CPU utilization, 2.14 gigahertz, 80% GPU and above.
Oh, finally.
5.5 gigs of
Vic,
VRAM.
shit's getting real.
VRAM,
Got a job from Dex to Sean.
It doesn't look that bad.
Need tech
this, on it, so again, I'm using this
Dexter Deshawn
little screen.
Well, that is something.
So it doesn't look that bad.
Quit crying, Vic.
Anyway, right, save game. New save. Okay, close and quit. So we'll be back with the next game. Boom. So this is a bit of a blast from the past for me. Let's see if we can get 60 here. This is the original Tomb Raider reboot. So this is one of the earliest games that I tested on this channel on like the T480S with the RX 480. So this is a blast from the past for me. Motion blur off. So all I've done is set that to 60 and then turn off motion blur. The original Tomb Raider reboot. Let's see what we get, baby. This is interesting because I've come quite far from testing this on the T480S in terms of like lots of things have happened. Oh, sorry, it's cracking my knuckle. Lots of things have happened in my life. I've progressed very far. Technologically, I've developed as well, going from like an X200 and a 2-core AMD machine to like a 32-core AMD machine, and not even. Well, I actually sold my P51. But let's have a look. Let's just do benchmark. Let's just do benchmark. See how this works out, and I can waffle a little bit over the top. This is one of the earliest memories from my channel of benchmarking games was this Tomb Raider reboot, so it's kind of nostalgic. I don't know if we've got the fancy hair technology on. I think that's just the basic one. We're getting a locked 60 FPS as visible at the top of the screen. CPU's like 40% utilization. GPU 55. Both sat at reasonable operating temperatures. 1.8 gigs of VRAM, so we can definitely bump this up a lot higher if we wanted to. And 7.2 gigs of RAM. Damn, look at that view, it's so cool. This takes me back, it's old school for me, reviewing Tomb Raider. I remember running this on, what was it, the X230 with a 750 Ti, in an old video. Right, let's just skip that. Oh, it's not going to give us results, so why did I skip it? What am I thinking? I might just run the full test and then... Yeah, if we don't get any results, right, I'll be back. So yeah, I reran it, and it's just 60, 60, 60, all the way across the board. So I'm just thinking, like, we're only using 1.2 gigs of VRAM, and we've got another 20 gigs of RAM. CPU's only 50%, so let's just bump up these. So let's see. VSync off. Quality, let's go high. Ultra. Motion blur off. Let's try that. See if it's even stable like that. Waiting for it to, there we go. Close that. So now, if we go back to the benchmark, I've seen 100, 400. Oh Jesus! Oh, sorry. Now we're looking more like we're taxing the system. We're still only using 1.8 gigs of VRAM now, but GPU core rate utilization is like 100%. It looks smoother, that's about it. CPU is still sat at like 2.4 gigahertz. So this is really taxing the GPU, but not the VRAM. So might have to do a little bit more tinkering. I'll be back when it's done. So that is much more like it. We've got minimum FPS 94, max 158, average 126.4. So I'm going to leave that there because obviously there's way more we could do to tinker with it, but I've got 2 more Tomb Raider games to benchmark, so I'm going to just go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and finish up there because we've got Return of the Tomb Raider and Shadow of the Tomb Raider next, so we'll dive into that. So here we are, we're in, sorry, not Return, Rise of the Tomb Raider. Stereoscopic off, not got DirectX 12, DLSS filtered out. Double buffer, so we're going to turn off VSync. It's giving us high. Turn off motion blur as well, because it annoys me. So you can see there what we've got. If you want to pause and take a look. There we go, that's what we're going to dive in. I remember this being a very good looking game. Yeah, I'll allow that. So Rise of the Tomb Raider, let's see what we get. There should be a built-in benchmarking suite, and then we're going to do Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which will be a bit more taxing. I think I've got them in the right order. Let's see, start benchmark. Sorry, that clunking sound is my cup mat falling off. My coaster falling off my cup. Let's see what we get. Should have turned the music off, I forgot. You just sort of bobbed into existence there. So looking sat around the 90 to 100 FPS, which is exciting. That lens flare is quite nice from the sun. Dropping as low as 40 now. Visible intrigue from TechDave. That looks gorgeous. Even at 1080p, that looks stunning. I need a decent panel though. Yo, feel free to donate me some money with the paypal.me link, by the way, so I can get a decent panel. I want one with HDR and like at least 120 FPS. It doesn't even have to be massive, but feel free to donate, because I can actually take donations now. I'm monetized, but I need to get a passport for ID before I can start earning, so I'm missing. There's a lot of money that I should be getting that I could sink into new devices that I'm just not able to, so I'm not actually joking. Yeah, it would be really nice to have a PayPal.me donation. If you feel like doing that, that'd be fine. But back to the process at hand. We've got a black screen here, which is a bit concerning. The CPU is pegged at 100% at 1.8. It's not going up and down. Oh, it froze for a bit there. Okay, so this is... yeah, this foliage looks garbage as well. This little sweeping pan not looking great. Yeah, we're hovering sub 30 FPS on this, as you can see at the top. The actual fidelity as well, the graphical fidelity is not great on that scene. So here we go. We got a score of minimum 25, max 116, average 75, Syria 47, 3.7 was the lowest and 72 is the highest. Geothermal Valley 30, minimum 3.6, that's probably a Thunderbolt bottleneck. Maximum 56, so we're looking 51 FPS. So we could rerun that and probably get a better score, but we're going to move on to Shadow of the Tomb Raider instead. But I just wanted to include that. How do I quit this game? Is there a way to quit? There's no way to quit. Oh, there we go. Right, see you in Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So we've got the Shadow of the Tomb Raider launcher. Let's see what it's given us. Tinker a little bit. So DirectX 12 it has enabled now. AMD fidelity, yeah, probably want that on. VSync off, anti-aliasing. Let's leave it at that. There are the other settings. Motion blur off again for my brain. And let's see what we get. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. We're just going to run the in-game benchmark. I think is probably the most sensible approach right here. I probably... what is that? Windows Internet Explorer 11. No. I don't need a browser. Why are you offering me? How confusing. Internet Explorer 11. That's old school. Oh, that's a good point. So I actually... this install is a Tiny 11 install because I just wanted something quick and not using up much CPU, resources, so I just used Tiny 11 for the basic install instead of a full Windows 11 install. It's perfectly compatible with a full Windows 11 install. I just used Tiny 11 because it was what I had on a USB stick from a previous project, so that's probably why it's asking for that. What is this? Let's see if there's anything. Nope. Yeah, we're all good. This one, I think, so the GPU is almost maxed out, CPU is sipping down at 40%. So I don't know if we might have to tinker with the settings a little bit. Pardon me, Jesus, what's going on with me today? I'll be back once we've got something other than a black screen. So I waited for like a minute and then we got like a full... I waited for a full minute and there was still just a black screen, so I exited. When I pressed Alt F4 it did bring up the options to quit, so probably want to turn off DirectX at 12, I would imagine. I don't know if that's even useful. AMD Fidelity Effects, let's turn that off as well. And just see if that gets us to anything other than a black screen. Because I believe this is a Polaris card, I could be mistaken. And I don't want a browser. We got something more than we got last time, if memory serves. I don't think it even did this. Maybe that browser thing is where I'm going wrong. Because that's why it went black before. Alright. Now we can't even quit the game. Right, let's kill it. Stop. There we go. So what am I doing wrong? Let's see. I thought I'd do this live management rather than hiding the fact that I had to do this. So that's all fine. Let's try put it on medium. Turn off motion blur. Okay. And then when it says about the browser, I guess we've got to do something like that. So yeah, let's yes that. And then, alright, let me pause. Okay, it doesn't seem like I can get anything done with this, so I could just wait and see if anything happens, but it's been a few minutes of faffing, so I'm just gonna try one last reboot. Let's try. Let's try. That's correct. That's correct. Don't want anything else. Resolution scaling doesn't work. Let's just leave that. Let's try. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Let's try low settings and see if we get any further. Right. No. And then it crashes out. I don't know how to fix this. I can't be bothered to fix this. If it doesn't load in, I'm just going to leave it. Am I supposed to sign up for something? Oh, I know. I know what to do. Because it's trying to... I'm launching it through Steam, so we won't have the performance overlay. But what I could do is try and launch it directly to Epic. So let's see if that is more successful. Because it may be that browser link that it's trying to use is essential to it somehow. Shadow of the Tomb Raider launch. Okay, options. Let's try back at medium, see, because it did seem to be running at a decent frame rate. Let's try, yeah, medium. So we won't actually have the performance metrics, but we've got the in-game benchmark, so if it goes in properly, we can just use that for a frame of reference. Yeah, privacy notice. So this is what it was trying to do then, the privacy notice. Yeah, we've got free stuff, free stuff, free stuff. Cool, cool, cool. With the definitive edition. Good, good, good. Let's just click through all of these. Craft fitness. Cool. So, options. Toby eye tracking, that'd be cool. Displaying graphics. Give us the benchmark. There we go. Alright, so we've got DirectX 12 off. We've got older hardware, so we're going to leave that off. Full screen on. Upsampling, good. VSync off. Anti-aliasing. Let's just leave it where it was. Let's just leave it on. That. Off. Right, apply changes. And then run benchmark, and we'll see how we get on. First one we haven't been able to run through Steam properly. So I may pause now actually and come back with the results. So I've just been sat on this menu for about a minute and a half. So I'm going to stop and then fully come back once it's loaded in. And it's done the benchmark, which it's just started doing, so good, I'll be back. So we're back and we've got some metrics here. So CPU, well, I don't understand this. So minimum 22, maximum 98. Well, you can see there in the corner, they're the metrics you're looking for. GPU bound 43%, system memory, video drive, or it doesn't mean much to me, but we've got an average FPS of 42, so that's the metric I'm using. I'd like to play this game at some point. The burden of being a tech YouTuber, you just get to benchmark things and never get to actually play, so I'll be back shortly. So, I've actually benchmarked a similar setup with a better GPU for Valheim, so I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do now, we've got Voyagers of Nera. I got pretty poor performance in it, so I'm going to run lossless scaling, which was requested by someone on Reddit. So these are my settings. I don't know if I'm using this correctly, but if I full screen that, you can have a look. So it lossless FSG 3.1, so I'm guessing that's good. Mode fixed. You take a look here, pause and have a look and see if I'm using this correctly. So we're going to launch Voyagers of Nera, and then I'm going to scale and then click to the game. There we go. So this is the first game we're trying lossless scaling on, because it definitely didn't perform well. I don't know if that's worked right. What's going on? Scale and then tab to this. There we go. I'm seeing a little denied symbol in the top left. Let's go to my world. So I was getting pretty poor performance in this game. Before, when I was just like testing off camera, and I'll show you the comparison by doing it without lossless scaling on, assuming that that's working. It seems to have frozen, so I don't know if it's even helping. There we go. So let's have a look. Audio display. So this was, I put it on low settings before from my previous playthrough because it wasn't working very well. Temporal super resolution. I can only use that with NVIDIA, so everything's set to low, as you can see, and this seems to be pretty groovy, but it just doesn't look great. So you can see we're getting 40 FPS here, but it just looks awful. Let's try medium. Hope it doesn't crash. Medium looks much better, but we're locked down at sub 30 FPS. So let's just see, can we? Yeah, that's working on it already. So that's probably even what's giving us even this 20 FPS, because it was like 15 to 20 before. It still looks horrible, and you see CPU is jumping around all over the place. GPU pegged at 99%. 5 gigs of VRAM, 16.6 gigs of system RAM as well, just to hold under 30 FPS. So I don't know if this is just a poorly optimized game, but let's see. Save and exit, and then if I just quickly briefly show you what it's like without lossless scaling as well. I believe it was worse. Itchy mustache. One of the burdens of being bearded is occasionally getting an itchy mustache. Don't know why I mentioned that. Right. Voyagers of Nera once again performing terribly on an eGPU and a U-series CPU. So, I mean, if I just tab out to Steam quick and show you the... It won't let me. Okay, I'll just wait instead of messing up with the performance. It just meets the system requirements. It is a desktop, so as you can see, we're like still on the same settings. So we're on medium, and so we've lost anything from around 15 frames a second just by not having. So we gained 15 or so frames a second and a significant increase in fidelity. I don't know if that's obvious to you guys, but what's this crab here? Let's punch this crab. Back! Give me your flesh. So yeah, we're not really reaching that 30-40 FPS we were getting before. So we were about here, I believe, when we got that 40 FPS, and we're down to 20. So lossless scaling was definitely helping there. And then if you want to play this game natively, I would say pop it on low, lock the frame rate to 30, and go into advanced settings to see if there's any very lows. There's no very lows. Resolution scale down to 50. It's given us for low. That actually looks alright, and we're holding that FPS now. I'll put it on those settings. So if you see at the top, we're just at a lock 30 FPS. So this is playable. It doesn't look very pretty, but you could feasibly play it with your chums should you want to. Knowledge point. Ooh. I love this game. I'm not going to put you through any more of it, but yeah, those are the settings you want basically to play this game. You want low, full screen, max FPS 30. So if we put unlimited, we're hovering around. We're getting a lot of frame drops, but we're sat on like just under 40. But glitch through the terrain there. On 50% scaling. So yeah, that's sort of a good frame of reference. So let's move on to the next game. And just because I thought, well, you might want to see Valheim. I don't know, with this GPU, you might not have seen the other video. I'll just see if we can get like sort of 30 frames a second Valheim experience. Let's turn the music off. Continue music off. So what's graphic settings is it giving us as a baseline? It's giving us 1080p, unlimited frame rate, VSync off. We've got a custom setting. I must have played this before to have that. Motion blur off. Let's see what we're getting. We'll go into. Let's see. We've got these are my characters. You can see how much I played this game. I seshed it. W builder, and then we go to. I've got a pretty. What would it? Yeah, Toad World. Let's go there. Because this is quite an elaborate map. And I think I should load into the right place. No. So let's see. Map not unlocked. So we got we've got like a 30 FPS experience. Can't for the life of me remember which way to go to get to my actual world. Seed all just evaporates. So we're getting sub 30 FPS. So let's tinker a little bit. As you can see, top bar graphics. So if we go down to like performance, let's see if that's viable. Say there. Continue. So on performance mode, we're up above 40 now, which I think that's a playable frame rate, 40 FPS. For a game like this, it's not Twitch heavy. It's not a particularly twitchy game. I cannot, for the life of me, remember where the built-up map is. I don't need no raspberries. So let's find some open terrain. terrain. No, you can go away. Put my claws on it. I haven't got much stamina. How not ready. So it's a nice open terrain. You can see the sky there. Going up to like 60 when we look at the sky. And we've got the ocean here. So that's probably a good frame of reference point. So we've got 1080p. And if we limit down to 30, we'll hit that completely for a more stable experience. Which is kind of fine for a game like this. If you absolutely got your heart set on 60 FPS, you can probably go down to here. Very low. It'll look terrible, but if we put the resolution scaling back up, where is that? Frame rate limited off. Render scale, we've got 100% native, and then turn off everything else basically. And then you should be seeing, yeah, over there we go, get like 100, nearly 100 FPS, and it's still playable. It still looks nice. It's still. Let's get that little. All the light we can, and as you can see, we're getting well over a tasty 60 FPS, up in the 80-90 frames a second range, even out with the ocean right there. It still looks nice at 1080p on this, like, was it 1720, something like that. Not a massive panel, and it looks good enough. Shield wall, blah 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 blah. These are new, I think. Right, so yeah, we're getting up well above 60 FPS there with those custom settings in Valheim. Oh, a little note as well. It said not to use Vulkan on this GPU because it flagged it up as not performing correctly, and there being a bug that didn't work well with this particular graphics card. So don't use Vulkan in Valheim. Next we jump into Darktide. Now I know for a fact it's going to, well, when last time I booted it, it said this system was not compatible, so it flagged up the CPU as not, what's the word? It's just not powerful. So we're going to put an ultra performance frame gen on. Yeah, this thing you can't touch. Actually, let's just put it on performance, because obviously I've obviously loaded into this game already and forgotten. So let's go performance, and then yeah, and just see how it goes. I mean, I'm not going to try lossless scaling on this yet, because I want to see how it works out. Quickly check my Twitter updates, Davith46 or at TechDave YouTube if you want to at me and talk about stuff on Twitter. Or X. Pardon me. Don't know why I'm burping so much today. So it flagged up the CPU as not being powerful enough because of the base clock of 1.8, but ignoring the turbo. So I don't know how well this will run at all. I got like a pretty decent frame rate with those settings that we had saw before. Last time I checked, so hold space. Don't want to violate no one's IP. This might take a minute. Don't want Wi-Fi. Space Marine I definitely will run with lossless scaling, but I think they've got frame gen and lossless scaling built into Space Marine 2, so that'll be the next game. And if they do, I will just use that because it should be more stable. There we go, we're in. There's Bloodvark. God, thy soul against disorder. The same hammer that shatters the glass forges the steel. That's a great quote. That is a great quote. Rejoice in thy service. Speak but praise of thy master. The mutant bears his heresy without. The traitor hides it within. Heresy! Sorry, I love this whole franchise. Everything about him. Warhammer. I'm listening to the Horus Heresies at the moment. Old year, but it's pretty epic. We should turn the music off. Looking like what 30% GPU CPU utilization, 30% GPU, but we are just on the loading screen. 3.3 gigs of VRAM, 9 gigs of RAM, locked 60 FPS at the moment. So this is the thing, they say you can't run these things, but that's not my experience. Like I got by with my P51 and the RX 608GB for years. I ended up selling it on to a friend to get my desktop, but let's have a look. So 42 FPS via FSR, so we're getting 60. Maybe if I could go to the... Yeah, I mean, the fidelity is not great, so let's just see what we can tinker with. Video, I don't want to mess with anything too much. Unlimited, let's try ultra performance. And we've got frame gen on, so it's going to make a bit of latency, but... I mean, would you notice while you were playing how poor that is? Fidelity wise, it looks a bit crackly. I know they... Is this the Cycanium? Yeah, let's try.
Let me unveil your true potential.
Basic training. Let's just try that. Let's see what we get. This isn't obviously. I'm not going to go into a match with a full match, which is what would be the true benchmark of this game, just because I don't want to annoy anyone in game by lunching out or failing or only being here for the benchmark. So I'm going to try this Cycanium for now, which is it's like a trial thing, so you can just fight against any enemy from the game. I'll pause once it's loaded. I'll pause until it's loaded.
Welcome to the Cycanium, little one. Let's make a soldier of you.
Splat, splat, splat. Sorry, graphic content warning.
In any order.
Right. So we're sat at via FSR. We're getting what, 120. Let's shove this guy. Back. Boosh. Back. It's not made for children, this video. There we go. So we're actually getting from those settings. We're getting one. So basic FPS 60, and then with the FSR we're getting up to like 120. Which is actually pretty good. Like, we're only in the Cycanium, obviously, so it might be different in game, but I should imagine you're going to be getting over that 80 FPS with FSR. It's going to reduce. So if we turn off FSR now, sorry, not FSR, frame gen, and then put it on balance, see how we get on. So if you're not looking for an overly twitchy experience, we're still up at 60. Still up at 60 FPS and over in the Cycanium. I don't know how that'll translate in game. Whack! Die, you fool. Run out of the head. He just doesn't want to die. Die. So yeah, we're still getting 60 FPS on balance with FSR. And then one last reference point is if we turn off any FSR and frame gen, let's see what we get. So we're at like 40. It looks, I think it looks better too. I think it looks a lot better. We look at the character model, get his feet and everything up close. Back. So we're still getting like a decent frame rate just on amazing. So like, right, just for reference before I get distracted by the actual gaming part of the game. So we're on full screen, unlimited, got some sharpening on, graphics all set to low, off, bloom, don't need, but you get the idea. There's plenty of room to tinker here to get a really, really good frame rate in game, even without using any of the FSR or frame gen. So I'd say Darktide's actually a win, despite it reporting that the CPU was not good enough to run the game at all. So low settings on a little 1080p panel still looks damn fine. So yeah, last game coming up. So for our final game of the day, we have Space Marine 2, Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. It's pretty hard to run. Well, let's say it's well optimized, but you can really stress the system with this game as well. So let's have a look what basic settings, because I loaded in this before because of the shaders. So I tinkered a little bit. So what we got? That's my capture card. RX 570. We don't want to switch to the. Yeah. So we got DirectX 12. DirectX 12. Borderless, balanced render resolution. Let's just see if we native it. FSR. Yeah, I'll leave that on. Frame gen. Let's try it without frame gen, and then motion blur off. I already turned it off. And we've got quality preset low for everything, so let's just apply that. Right, let's go in. I'm not expecting a miracle. Might take a while to load as well. Let me pause and come back once it's loaded. I think we just got loading. That was about 30 seconds. So so with those settings you just saw, we're getting 18 FPS. So that is absolute ass. So let's see what we can do. So the render resolution, let's go balanced. FSR is on. Frame gen, let's whack on. No, let's leave frame gen off first and see how we get just with balance on FSR. Now we're up 23 but not, so a cinematic 20 odd frames a second. Yeah, that's painful on my eyes seeing that. Let's try let's go performance and add frame. No. We'll do performance. See how we get on. Got a nice. That's still really quite unplayable. So I won't go down into animation. Let's try. Well, let's see what else we can do. So we've got FSR, performance, ultra performance, dynamic. Try ultra performance. One last thing, and then if that isn't enough. So that, whilst it looks, for Detlo, if you just like look at his arm there, it looks a lot worse. Let's just try. Now if we add frame gen, should be able to double it up. We've got 2x frame gen. FPS limit is unlimited, obviously. Let's just try 30 FPS limit as well. Oh, I thought it crashed for a second there. So we're getting 55 with FSR, 29. It looks terrible. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that lossless scaling software. And this might take a bit of faff just to get that. Let's do lossless scaling, launch that. And then we've got all of that, and then we're going to restart Space Marine. And when it loads, we're going to click that button and see if this helps, because it did yesterday. Made it look a lot better and a lot more playable. I can't remember who, but there's someone on Reddit that asked for me to use this software, and I'm glad they did, because it's going to be really interesting. The other thing is, I think lossless scaling can help with accelerating the interior, the built-in display, but I'm not gonna tinker with it too much because I will mess it up. So scale and then tab back to the game and give it a minute so it doesn't crash. Little sip of tea. And I think we've frozen the game. The mouse cursor's barely moving. Oh. Let's have a look. So, all the settings are the same as before. Let's see what it says. I'll pause as well till we're in. So we got to the main screen and we were sat at like 60 with FSR, but let's just see what it does. And I'm going to draw your attention to the top, like up to the top of the screen. I'm sorry if you're watching this on a phone. If you're watching on a TV, it should be visible. So we're using 12.6 gigs out of 32 gigs of RAM. We're using 4 gigs of VRAM with only 12% GPU utilization. CPU is sort of spiking up and down between 30 and 60, even as low as 20. Both sat at decent operating temperatures, so 70 for the CPU, which is Intel, so quite viable for an 8th gen. And then 49 degrees locked on the GPU, 30 FPS. But as you can't see, because it's under my face, it says loading. Let me show you. There, look. It's exactly where I was, just showing you. It's loading in, so it's got a loading bar. Massive drop spike, FSR's coming on, so I guess we're loading in now. So, it looks pretty bad. Looks pretty bad. Let's try. So if you turn off ultra performance down to performance, balance. Let's try balance. Pardon me, I don't know what's going on. FSR, sharpness, yeah, frame gen on, VSync off, motion blur off, 30 FPS limits. We're trying to get that 30 FPS limit. Let's turn that to unlimited. We've got it all on low. It doesn't go any lower than this. So this is the best you can possibly expect with lossless scaling on. That looks better. We're getting 45 FPS. I'm not going to torture anyone by dropping in. Is there a tutorial I can do? Private mode setting. Is there a tutorial? I can't remember. I've got all these to do. I've actually completed all of these. Haven't done Siege. Could I do private mode settings? Is that right? Private mode. Oh, mouse is frozen. So if we go right, private mode on with bots. Good. And Y is to close module. And then let's try that. I mean, I can just drop out and it doesn't matter. So right, what's that? FSR. Why is there no? Nothing launching. Launch bay. Private mode on, bots on. What am I doing wrong? Is my brain just being silly? What have I done? Quick match. Yeah, right, let's just do that. Assemble. So let's get some in-game metrics for our last game.
The reaction latency is high.
Let's see how we get on. So CPU is spiking right up into the 90% utilization now. GPU on 99 to 100% locked all the time, paint at that. FSR is saying 60 FPS. 55. With FPS at native actually about 20. 13 gigs of RAM. 5.2 VRAM. Looks terrible. It looks foggy. I would describe it as foggy and unaliased. I'm hoping I haven't gone into a public match. I do like this game. It's 75% loaded. You can't see it behind my face. Let's see. Is it at least playable on this U series CPU with I think it's a Polaris card, an old RX non-ray tracing graphics card on a game like this. Does it work? We'll find out. I'm going to pause until we're a bit back in the game. Now we're loading in. Let's see how we get on.
Our redeployment to Eldoret will further reduce the heretic presence in the sector.
Cutscenes right now. Let's turn off the music as well, because I haven't thought to do that, and I probably should, because I'm on YouTube. Music down to 0. Good.
The clashes between the heretics and the Xenos have reduced the landing zone to rubble. This is as close as I can get you. No backup, no calls,
how would I describe
no overwatch, grant, no quarter.
It doesn't look good.
Is more enough for the challenge.
Playable. You see we're getting 24 and 54.
1,000 suns combatant observed.
See what happens today. Who's that there? Whoa.
Hell's Fall. Destruction required.
Oh, so with this game, I've got how the game works. How do I attack?
Enemy request grenade.
Why would you do this to me?
Injecting skin.
Help me, brother, help me. Okay, better. Completely forgot how to play this game. I got downed. Let's just quit this nonsense. Right. But yeah, as you can see, we're getting around 40 FPS with them. All those optimizations we've done, we haven't got past 40 FPS with Space Marine. But it's kind of playable. Not great, but playable, which is surprising because if you look at the store page, yeah, don't to give away my date of birth. So the minimum 8 gig RAM, 6 gig VRAM, Ryzen 2600. So the Core i5 8600K is the minimum. So like we got a lot of. So we've got 32 gigs of RAM, 8 gigs of VRAM, SSD, but we're nowhere near on CPU at all. And it's a U series CPU, and we've got PCIe bottlenecking for the GPU massively because it's through a Thunderbolt 3 eGPU. So I would say that's kind of a win. That's all the games. I'm going to drop out from screen capture, do a little bit of talking, and then that'll be the end of the video. So see you shortly. Please. So you just seen all of these clips all recorded on my main rig. So it's kind of a good looking setup though, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm genuinely surprised that this, see, feels some heat on there. Decent bit of heat. We've got, when I was using it, the setup, I can have both those screens on, but that's just connected to the rig just as to help me monitor OBS. So everything you've been watching was recorded at NVENC HEVC on the desktop at 4K 60, so it should have looked fairly decent, but the panel is only 1080p 60, so it's condensed down, so I don't know exactly how good it's going to have looked. We've got some nice peripherals here. We've got this little, I forget who this is made by, let me have a look. Red Thunder, yeah, I like these. I've got two of these actually. I've got one in white and black and one in black that I was using for the setup. This is what I'm recording this audio with. Shout out Hollyland with the lapel mic. It's actually pretty decent quality, and it's got a recharger case, and you get two, so you can do podcasts, I guess, if you wanted to. You've got two mics that record into your phone. But yeah, this is the mic I recorded on. So as you see, it's the SE Electronics SE 2200. But it's, the conclusion is basically it's surprisingly good. I think it's actually pretty well, but based on what we saw in all the benchmarks, I think that this GPU was able to stretch its legs very well without overly being bottlenecked with the CPU. because it's an 8th gen. So if this was a desktop computer with an 8th gen i7, this would be pretty well balanced. So I've been tinkering around. I've got this little Ryzen 5 3600 650 watt power supply that I use with the RX 570. It needs a new case. That's why it looks devastated at the moment. I'm going to have this Quadra K5200 in it temporarily while I was doing this, but I haven't actually got round to that. What the point of making anyway is just that this is actually quite a well-balanced system, and you can see that from the CPU GPU utilization in the previous sections of the video, which they are all of them. I'd say if you've got the T480, you've got an eGPU solution of some kind. RX 578GB, pretty decent 1080p gaming experience if you're not looking for like super competitive frame rates and you just want to play some games. Definitely viable. I've been TechDave. This is part 2. If there's anything more you'd like to see this ThinkPad do, I've got, for example, look at this chaos here. But yeah, there's a 512 gig NVMe that is used with this graphics, this sound card, and in other areas for music production, because even though it's only a 4-core 8-thread CPU, it's got 32 gigs of RAM, and it's quite nice how to run Ableton. So if that's something you'd like to see, get me in the comments, and I can maybe look into doing some music production on it. But I've been TechDave. Please like, subscribe, share the video with anyone who might find it useful, and thank you for watching. You guys are awesome. We're nearly at 2K subscribers on 1,000. Let me just check. I believe I am at, let me just, what's that? Yeah, 1.89K. So that's specifically, I need 104 more subs for 2K. This is the video that you're watching the sequel to. Yeah, just keep liking and subscribing. It's really helping me out. I'm basically monetized. I just need to, if I could just turn away quickly. Sorry to make you look at the curtain. I'm monetized. I just need to, so I was monetized as a partner. I just need the money for a passport. So if anyone wants to donate any money, there will be a, what's the word? A paypal.me link. I can accept donations as far as I'm aware. Nice and legally, it's all safety. Then once I've done that, I can get a passport. So I'm looking to raise about 100 to 120 pounds for a passport. You don't have to donate any money, but if you'd like to, the paypal.me link will be here and included in the description, as it always has been for ages. I did a little community note. Where was it? So I go to my channel and then go to posts. Everyone voted on this little vote thing here. Where was it? There, everyone said paypal.me donations. It seems, I don't remember how many exactly I got, but I got into making this channel because a friend of mine would front the devices and then I'd pay him back, and I don't have a business model for that anymore. So until I can get this passport monetized, and then enable monetization, I'm not making any money from this, and it's a sinkhole for money until I can get something sorted. So if you feel willing and you've got the cash, it seems like people think paypal.me is the way to do it. I haven't got Patreon fully set up anyway. Coffee I have got, that link will be in the description, paypal.me. But blah, 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 blah. I've been TechDave. Thank you for watching. You're all very lovely people, handsome, beautiful, charming, and amazing. So thank you for watching. Get them in the comments. Peace.